Hello and welcome. This is Ren from Crunch Granny and welcome to my May bullet journal setup. We are going to be talking about how I do my bullet journaling for my mental health and why I decided on my spreads. And yeah, I hope it helps you if you deal with ADHD or any kind of CPTSD. I have a lot of issues, so bullet journaling really helps. To the point that I told somebody once that I kind of feel like keeping up with my bullet journal is the same as taking my medication. Like there was a period of time where things got a lot better for me mental health wise, and then I just stopped bullet journaling, and I realized afterward that when I stopped and I wasn't tracking things and I didn't see what was going wrong, that things got considerably worse. And it took me knowing what was in my trackers to kind of help maintain a good level headspace. So I don't know if anybody is a My Favorite Murder fan. I love that podcast. It's one of my absolute favorites. I found it during COVID. Well, I didn't find it during COVID, but I had heard about it for a while because I really like it, and That's Why We Drink. And then during COVID, I got way into My Favorite Murder, and I listened to all 5 years. I think it's 5 years. All 5 years. And this is a quote from My Favorite Murder. I'm the daddy in this situation. I like to have a definite split between my months, and I do it with a quote on the left and then my title page on the right. So for this theme, I realized when I vended this past weekend that one of my strengths is probably florals, and that I should stick to that and stop kind of running from it. I did pencil everything out. I messed up here though, so I'm using a white acrylograph pen to kind of erase that. And then I do a very tiny little month on the bottom just in case I'm wondering, what day is that on? Is the 26th on Monday? So the next tracker I prioritize, and that's why it's the next one, is my sleep tracker, followed by my water tracker. I did a little poppy on the side, and I do it by numbers of hours and the day. So my water tracker will also have numbers going 1 through 12, but each number across the top represents every 8 ounces of water. And how I drink that much water is by using a 32-ounce jar, and I try to drink at least 3 of those. If I don't, if you listen to my last video, then you know that I am passing kidney stones, and I get kidney stones very easily. I also drink a lot of coffee, and I am on ADHD medication, and I think that is a part of it. For my habit tracker, I keep this similar to the way Amanda Rachley does it, where it's just the month, and I put down what that habit is, and I'm trying to start certain habits, so right now my goal is just to have them boiled down to 2 minutes a day. Like, what is the starting act for it? Because I was learning a lot about habits and starting habits and the best ways to do that, and one of the things that I heard was if you can boil it down to just 2 minutes a day and you have that starting initial act that you can make a habit, then the other things should fall in line. One of my goals is to get out of debt, so I have a debt tracker and then important dates just so I remember, because I hate forgetting my daughter's doctor's appointments, my doctor's appointments, and anything like that I need to remember. My biggest one is the social media tracker. Because I work from home, it's really important for me to remember that I'm actually doing these things, that I'm posting at the right times, that I'm able to see visible growth, and to write down any ideas that I have for them or where I am with those things. So I go ahead and I just do a whole social media tracker. I have a little section for notes, and then I have a key on how many times I post a day, which I didn't put into this video, but if anyone's interested, I don't know how many other people are doing social media trackers. I just made this one up for myself. I added a little orchid to the side because it needed some pizzazz. In this video, I'm also practicing using a new editing software. It's DaVinci Resolve 17. This is the first time I'm using it, and I'm still figuring it out. I don't understand it. I think a lot of it is mostly self-explanatory. There is thankfully enough on YouTube to help me figure out how to use this, but I am figuring out the zoom and how to close up and how to crop things. This was really hard for me for some reason. I'm not sure the best way to zoom or crop. The option it has is this little button that says close up, and so I went ahead and I did that. So my last month's bullet journal spread, I had done a very colorful peacock theme. I added a lot of colors to it. I had a lot of layers to it, different kinds of washi tape, and it was really busy. And it seemed to fit my ADHD mind wanting to see other things that were visually stimulating. The problem was is that I put too much in it, that going back to add to it or catching up with my NaPoWriMo tracker that I had done these peacock feathers with, it was just too much for me. And then I felt guilty when I saw things not being filled in, and then because of that guilt, wouldn't go back to that page, because it was like I was associating that page and the lack of it being filled up with my own inadequacies, and it turned into a whole thing. So that is why this one is simple, and I'm noticing that for myself, that is kind of what I need to keep up with it. I really love this quote. I thought it was just so funny, and it kind of felt like it was my way of jokingly and lightheartedly just saying that, yeah, I'm the boss here. I'm going to be dominant in my life. I'm going to not be so passive. I'm not going to let things just happen. I'm going to take control. And that's the reason for this quote. Oh, and this is the Prismacolor landscape set, which, by the way, happens to almost be exactly the Acrylograph Jewel Tones set. Like, if you have the Acrylographs by Archer and Olive, those acrylic paint pens that are just absolutely perfect and beautiful, and I just love them, the colors in them match the Prismacolor landscape set almost exactly. There's definitely some different ones, but it works really well together. And so I was going ahead and just using Prismacolors because I didn't want to, again, add too much pressure on myself by having things be too bold or definitive. I was trying to get better with marker art, and it's just maybe not my bag. I really like to do really light layers, and I like to mix colors. So using Prismacolors was my way of doing that, so I can ease myself into the art that I'm doing even. I'm realizing right now that I think that I'd have a tendency to try and ease myself into anything that I do, which is why I think I have trouble with things like oil pastels, that I'm trying to get better, or even paint, because with paint, it's just so definitive. Like, once you put it down, it's down. And with Prismacolors or colored pencils, I can very lightly build up color, I can lightly build up shadows, and I think it looks really nice when it's done. It's something calming about it for me. I want to be able to post ASMR videos sometime, but I honestly don't think that I'll ever be able to because my house is so loud. If you'll notice, there are birds chirping right now. It's because I try to record all my voiceovers outside, and I record them outside because if I'm inside, then you'll hear my 7-year-old, oh, she's 8, she just had a birthday. You'll hear my 8-year-old, screaming around and yelling about things and talking the whole time, and my partner is a very large fellow, and he is very loud as well. He just makes a lot of sounds, and so it's easier to just be outside and at least get the birds. I feel like there's something relaxing about the sounds that they make. And because I wanted to stick with the Prismacolor landscape set, I just did this orchid in blue. I really liked all these colors together anyway. I mean, obviously if Prismacolor thought that they deserved to be in a palette together, then they work together, Who am I to argue with Prismacolor? I also liked this font that I did for May. I am much more of a cursive person, and I've done calligraphy for a little bit, and I'm trying to improve, but my print is not the best. So you'll also notice that I'm working on my print by writing things out in print instead. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, then you'll know that almost everything I do is in cursive. But I'm working on it. I really love that real perfect print. Ooh, there's an angry dog. Okay, here we go. So these prompts are from Lavendare. I will link her video. She always does an end of the month reflection, and these are her prompts that I started to add to my bullet journal. For April, I put April in one word, muchy. I took steps to get closer to my goals and dream life. And she says to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like absolutely did, and then 1 being like absolutely didn't. I said about a 7.5. One thing I learned. This is just to remember that I live in a poor state, that the response that I get to my shop on the internet is going to be different than the response that I get here in person, because there are things in my state that are especially difficult. I live in Arkansas, and it's just a fact of living here. One thing I'm proud of was that I got everything together. I got it all together for vending for this project in a week. And how I can improve was to prioritize self-care, specifically sleep and water. The reason I do that, and the reason I always have that as a tracker, is because as soon as I start to go down on sleep and water, my mental health kind of plummets. Like, it's just very obvious. It happens almost every single month, too. How has my life changed this month? I began my YouTube channel, and I also vended my first event live. And these things taught me different things that I need to keep in mind, new things to kind of accept and maneuver around or work with as I continue my pursuits. But yeah, I think they were good. So here are my May goals. Again, these same prompts are from Lavendare. May will be, and I put stabilizing. Not because I think that things will get stable, but I think that now that the live events have started, and now that the YouTube channel has started, I can get myself into a kind of routine or see what works and doesn't work. It was really hard for me to consider goals because I have a habit of wanting to make goals that I am not in control of accomplishing, such as sales goals or subscriber goals or follower goals. And I'm not in control of that. So the only thing I can do is consistently post. And so that was my only goal for the top one, because I kept wanting to put down, that I'm going to be able to be a part of the creator fund or that my YouTube channel will grow. But I can't control that. I can't control what other people do. I also can't control the algorithms. And it's going to be a little bit before I even know when is good to post on YouTube, because it's going to be a little bit before I grow an audience. So I'm accepting that, and I'm just going to try and get into the habit of knowing how to edit and film things in a more efficient way. My other one was to streamline and balance time for projects. Yeah, and that kind of fits with number one. It's just that I figure that as I post consistently, in trying to post consistently, I'm going to figure out how to edit things, how to manage my day, and how to manage my time. And that when I manage that, and I am in more of a habit with them, that things will improve. And then my third goal was to go back to my onion skin journals and work on those projects and do art for fun, because those were some fun projects that I was doing in there, and I really like them, and I want to keep doing them, and they made me happy, and they weren't for anybody else but me. So that was my little reminder to do some art for me. I have to remember that doing art for me often will inspire me or give me new ideas of things to put into the shop or do via my outlets. And so sometimes I will avoid it, thinking that it's not going to be productive, but it is, just in a different way. So I went ahead and colored everything off camera, because at that point it was dinner time and I didn't want my family waiting on me to eat. I also didn't want them to eat without me. I think it's important that we have dinner time together, even though sometimes I do get caught up in my work and can't always sit and join. Here's my habit tracker finished, though. So I have one for reading, meditating, exercise, and decluttering, and reminding myself to just boil it down to 2 minutes a day so it feels less imposing. There's my social media one with color. I tried to do a little gradient from the light blue to the dark blue, which I think was nice and calming. Then craft show planning. So Okay, as I said, I'm still learning this software and I'm gonna go back to this goal thing, even though this is not where I wanted this clip. But now that it's here, I'm not even entirely sure how to move it, and I think consistency is more important than a perfect video. So then I went back to my goals. Here's my mini goals. Oh my god. All right, here we go. So to keep things from looking like straight up poop in my bullet journal, I went to my passion planner and I went to the extra space that's in the back to organize how I wanted my craft show planning spread to look. I needed to set it up into categories, and I feel like this page represents my brain better than I could even express it verbally. And I have trouble with expressing things verbally sometimes. Honestly, doing this is such a challenge because I feel like I'm one of those people that's better in writing. But I went ahead and I organized it into kind of categories, at least the categories that I thought existed. And then I did my arrows where I was realizing, oh, actually these things go together and these things go together. So if I'm going to make categories, I can just put them together like that. And then some other little reminders so that I didn't forget, like my phone charger and the little square thingy so that I can accept payments. Oh, goodness. And I cut out all of the just thinking parts because I felt like that also just showed a lot of the ADHD brain. So this is going to end up being the big reveal. I did add a Dutch door. I did this last, honestly, so when we do the flip through, you're going to see that the Dutch door is not there because I did this after the fact. But it felt like it fit this way in the clip, so there you go. I have these little scissors they came in a 4-pack, and I think they're sewing scissors, but I call them my emergency scissors, and I keep them in my fanny pack at all times. And these ones I actually added a magnet to, so I can just stick up on a board or a shelf, because I have metal shelves. This is my first Dutch door. I like it. I think it added a nice little textural element. I also like that I did those illustrations right there on the water tracker page, so that you get kind of another image peeking through. I thought it helped center those as well. Anyway, here we go. Big reveal. Got my quote page, my title page, my sleep and my water tracker. I need to add a little quote there. My habit trackers. I need to fill in my debt tracker and my dates. The social media tracker. And then, there it is, my craft show planning. I was really proud of how organized and neat it looked, so I kind of go on this for a bit. And I put little bullets so that I can check things off on that day, and I left space for more notes. My weekly spreads I'll fill in as I go, because I like to do them, so I don't want to take that away from my future self. But I just put them in boxes. I do the 5-minute journal prompts for those, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm going to go ahead and link a video there too. Why not? That way it'll be ready. Well, if you stuck it out this long, I appreciate it. My name is Ren, and I hope to see you next time.